So this time we'll do a little bit of practice on intonation. And when we do the intonation, there are how many choices? How many choices did I say we're going to have? 3 choices. We'll have 3 choices. The choices are even, rising, and falling. Okay, so you're going to show me with your little fingers. Okay, show me with your little fingers what you hear when I say the word. Okay, so this is even. All right, I'll give you an example. I'll just say the sound ah. All right, ah, even. Ah, rising. Ah, falling. Right. Ah, this is even, right? Rising would be ah, 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 right? Ah, ah. And falling, ah, ah.
Do it like that?
Yeah, okay, so if I show you like this, you get it really easily. Yeah, okay, but people are not going to show you that way. They're just going to talk it that way, and you have to hear it that way, right? Lots of times I use my body to show you, to help push you out and make your intonation change. But right now I'm going to try not to use my body. I'm trying only to use my voice. But it's hard. But it's hard. Let's not do anything that's hard. Let's practice, okay? We're just practicing, right? You want to practice or not?
Yes.
Okay, what do? We say, it's hard, so I'm going to give up. Or it's hard, so I want to try and practice more. Which one do you want to do?
Second one.
The second one? Okay, so even though it's hard, that means you want to practice more, right? So you get better. You'll get better at it, don't you think? Yeah. Okay, we'll try it. All right. B. 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 Falling. Oh, falling. C. C. Rising. C. Falling. C. C. Even. Yeah. D. Rising. D. Falling. D. Even. See, you're pretty good. You're listening carefully. All right. Apple.
Falling.
Apple. Falling. Apple. Rising. Apple. Even. Apple. 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 My voice was rising. So don't look at my head was falling. I told you to listen and not use my body language. I was trying to trick you. Did I trick some of you? Yes, I did. Okay, so that's why I want you to listen to the sound of the pitch. Okay, all right.
I'm keeping my eyes in your mouth.
You're keeping your eyes, okay. So you can keep your eyes on my mouth, but the thing is my mouth does not tell the pitch. So if you want to keep my eyes on my mouth, you can learn to pronounce the words and learn how to shape the mouth correctly. But that doesn't help you with the pitch, all right? So the pitch is strictly auditory. It's strictly auditory. So imagine you're not even, you want to put your sunglasses on now? Your blindfold, and then you won't be influenced by anything that I'm doing up here because it's all auditory, the pitch. That's why it's difficult, because a lot of other things about oral communication, you can get the meaning from people's body language, right? And that's very helpful. But pitch is very technical. It's music, right? And you have to be able to hear the sound. All right, ready for another word?
Yes.
Peaches.
Peaches.
Peaches. Peaches. Peaches. Peaches. Peaches. Banana. Falling. Banana?
Rising.
Rising. Banana?
Falling. Rising. Falling.
Falling. Okay, so when we have a word with more than one syllable, we listen to the stressed syllable. All right, that's why I always try to teach you syllables and stress first. You need to understand syllables and stress first. Then you can identify the stressed syllable, and you hear the pitch change. The pitch change occurs on the stressed syllable. So you know this word has 3 syllables, ba, na, right? So which one is the stressed syllable? The second one. So when you're looking at the pitch, it goes banana, and it goes up on the stressed syllable and then it goes down. So the part we want to know is when it's at the stressed syllable, na, then it goes down, na, right? So that's falling. It's rise falling, right? You have to rise on the stressed syllable and then fall. If it's only one word like peach, then the E is falling altogether. But if it's a word like banana, the first syllable is weak, and a weak syllable should be low and short. And then you rise and lengthen the second syllable, and then you go down for banana. All right. Cucumber. Falling. Cucumber. Rising. Cucumber. Even. Cucumber. Rising. Cucumber. Falling. Banana. Rising. Banana. Falling. Traveling. Rising. Traveling. Even. Traveling. Falling. Airplane. Rising. Airplane. Even. Airplane. Falling. Airplane. Falling. See, some of you were watching my head. You weren't listening to my voice, right? You saw my head go up and you said rising, but my voice went falling. Be careful, be careful. Okay, Africa. Falling, Africa, falling. Africa. Even. Africa. Rising. Africa. Even. Africa. Falling. Some of you putting up a different number of fingers and saying something. Some of you are going like, some of you are. America. America, falling. America. Even. America. Rising. America. Rising. America. Rising. So you didn't notice I was rising, but one of them I went America, and the other one America. I was rising, and then I was rising a little bit lower, but it's still rising. So some people with a high voice say America, and people low voice America. Both of them are rising. Both rising. America. Falling. America. Even. America. Did I say that? Did I show the right numbers last time? I forgot what I said now. This one. What did I just say? Right? Did I just say rising?
You need a 4.
Canada.
Rising.
Canada. Falling. Canada. Even. Canada.
Rising.
Even. Canada. Even. Canada. Falling. Canada. Falling. Canada. Falling. Canada. Rising. Canada. Rising. Canada, evening. Mexico, falling. Mexico, Mexico, Europe, rising. Europe, falling. Europe, falling. Europe, rising. Europe, even. Europe, even. Europe, rising. Europe, falling. How are your ears?
Why is it so difficult?
Why is it so difficult? Maybe you're not used to listening to the pitch change. And if you're not used to listening for it, you have to train yourself to hear it. If you train yourself to hear it, then you can begin to control it in your own speech. For example, if I say, the problem with this sentence is you're using the wrong intonation pattern. And you just go, huh? And I'll say, you need to have falling intonation. So that's why I'm trying to train you to hear it. Then after I train you to hear it, you can start changing your own pitches. But if you don't even notice it, then how can you change it? You know what I'm saying? If you don't know it exists, you can't identify one from another, then how do you know if you say, it maybe sounds the same to you. But I want to try to get you this technical listening skill, because that way it will be easier for you to see the difference, to hear the difference, and then to speak the difference in it. So we were trying to practice our intonation patterns in this lesson, right? What are the intonation patterns that we were learning for statements? Do you remember the statement pattern? What is a basic intonation pattern for a statement? Did we say la 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 la?
No.
La 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 la. Yeah. La 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 la. La 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 la. Right? And where do we go up on? On what word? On what is the word we go up on? La 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 la. How do I know whether to go la 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 or la 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 la?
Question or
Stress, right. The stressed word, the key word, the focus word. In your whole sentence, what is the most important concept that you are trying to tell your listener? What is the most important thing? You know, you have a lot of words in your sentence, but some words carry more content, right? They carry more meaning. The more meaningful the word, the more important the word, the more essential the word, then the more you want to emphasize that word. How do you emphasize something? Making it longer or shorter? Longer. To make it louder or softer?
louder.
Yeah, making it higher or lower?
Higher.
Making it clearer or make it weaker?
Clear.
Right. So you have to make a difference in your speech. And that's where you're going to jump up, da 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 da. So whatever is the most important word, right? You will jump up on that, all right? So most of the time in English, typically it's the last noun or verb, all right? Nouns and verbs are the most important content words. Not always, and it also depends on your emphasis, your meaning, because we use the stress in English to tell our meaning. For example, if I say, I gave him $5. Oh, no. I didn't give him $5. I gave her $5. So in English, we do it by stressing the word. In some other languages, you don't do it by using stress. You change the grammar. You change the word order of your sentence. In some languages, you don't say, I gave her the money, I didn't give it to him. You say, her, I gave the money to. Him, I didn't give the money to. Okay, so the grammar of different languages will tell you how to do it. But in English, we don't change the word order. We change it by stressing the word. We change it by emphasizing the word. And you see that I'm going up on the word because I want you to really remember that you have to punch it to get that word out. Because if you pronounce all of your words the same, it's really very, very difficult to understand what you're talking about. If all the syllables are the same length, and you know you don't have any intonation, you don't really know what are you. And then people usually go, right? It sounds kind of boring, very modern, yeah, very, very dry, you know, not spicy. You want spicy, you want to listen to something interesting, then you have to have animated speech. You have to punctuate your language, right? You punctuate your language orally by using stress and intonation, by using your pitch to carry the melody of what you want to say to people. If you use your voice like an instrument, like a melody, so something will give the music to your ears. That'll be something they want to hear and something easy to hear. So we want to emphasize that. So going back to my original question, our pattern for our statement is really la 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 la. I'm a teacher, right? Teacher is the most important word in that sentence. I'm not a student. I'm a teacher. I teach at Mission College. I've been teaching here for 30 years. I'm an old-time teacher. I'm going to be, bye, good. No. Okay, so what we do is we stretch up on the content word that's the most important. And for normal sentences, it's near the end of the word. How about for a yes-no question? What is our typical intonation pattern? What do we usually do when we say, are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Ah, yeah, like that. Are you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Yeah. Okay, this is typical intonation pattern for American English. Now, there are many Englishes in the world. There's British English, Australian English, there's Canadian English, there's a lot of Englishes, there's Singaporean English, there's Indian English, there's all kinds of different intonation patterns. But what I'm trying to teach you is the basic pattern for North American English. I mean, basically Canada and people in the United States all, you know, pronounce pretty much with the same intonation. Obviously, there's some differences in pronunciation and intonation in different parts of the country, but not much. So typically, we use the rising intonation. Are you a teacher? Are you a student? Yeah. Do you go to Mission College? Are you taking a pronunciation class? Are you learning better listening skills? Can you hear the stress syllable? Can you hear the is endings? Yeah, all the rising intonation, right? So typically we do that. Now, that's what you'll hear in this country. Other countries might use different intonation pattern, but definitely North American pattern is very much like that. Now, that's a second pattern. Another pattern that I taught you was WH questions. So anything with who, what, where, why, when, how, and how much, and all the words with how. So normally, we use what intonation pattern? Is it also rising? Is it same? Is yes, no, or different? Same as yes, no pattern, or different? Different. But it's the same as something else. It's falling. Okay. So actually, it's the same pattern as a statement. So it's a little bit strange. The question depends what kind of question. So in English, it depends. What kind of question you ask will determine the intonation pattern. The yes-no type of question uses rising intonation. Are you a student? Yeah. Are you a teacher? Do you go to Mission College? Are you taking a pronunciation class? Rising. But if you ask the question, where do you go to school? Right? Where do you take classes? Who is your teacher? How do you get to school? What books do you use? What CDs do you listen to? What videos do you watch? You're going to be using falling intonation. All right? Falling intonation. So that is the same kind of pattern. When I say falling intonation, I don't mean falling from the very beginning. I mean even intonation and then jump up on the keyword and then come down. Okay? So that basically it's the same as the intonation for a statement. Okay, so that's 3 intonation patterns. What is the 4th intonation pattern that I taught you? Okay, you can peek. You can take a peek. Look, you can't remember? Look in your book. What other intonation pattern are we studying in chapter 2? What else? What other? Rising and falling. Okay, when do we use rising and falling? You mean we have 2 intonations? We have 2 intonation patterns within the same utterance. Rising, falling. Rising, falling, rising, falling? Or rising, 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 falling? Okay. Okay, let's try to think of what our category is for that. Okay, this is in chapter 3, right? Chapter 3. Okay, so if you have a choice question. Okay, so when you have a choice question means you have two options. All right, would you like coffee or tea? Would you like soup or salad? Do you want to pay by credit card or cash? Do you want to eat dinner now or later? Do you want to get an A or a B? Okay, so like if you have choices, then if you have two choices, the first choice will always be rising, right. And the second choice will always be falling. Yeah, high falling. All right. So do you want coffee or tea? If we change the word order, do you want tea or coffee? So it doesn't matter which order it is. The first item has to be rising, and the second item has to be falling. All right. So suppose I have two pens, right? And you didn't bring your pen to correct my quiz for me, and you asked to borrow one of my pens. And I can ask you, sure, I have a few pens. Do you want the purple pen or the green one, right? Do you want the orange one or the red one? Boy, I have a lot of pens. I have a lot of colors. So I can offer you two, and I use the rising one and then the falling one. Yes, question?
How about tag question?
Okay, so we're not studying tag questions in this lesson. We will study that in a future lesson. Okay, so hold off on that. We will study that. But when we do a tag question, we also have to pay attention to the base statement. So let's work on these first. But that's a good question, because there are other types of questions. So far I've introduced to you one statement form, and the yes-no question, and the WH question, and the choice question. If you have three choices instead of two, then how do you think the intonation will be? How about we have red, yellow, and blue, okay?
Rising, rising, falling.
Okay, rising, rising, falling. Okay, so rising, rising, falling. So think of it this way. Rising means I need an answer, I'm not sure, I'm not finished, and then falling is finished. Okay, so we have red, blue, and yellow. Which one do you want? Right? You could have tea, coffee, and milk. Which would you prefer? So in that case, if you have three choices, you just rise, rise, and then fall. If you have four choices, you have rise, 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 and fall. And then you have five choices, you rise, 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 and fall. If you have six choices, rise, 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 and fall. Like that, okay? All right, so that's your choice question. We've just practiced with our choice of two items. Then it'll be rising and falling. So that's those are the question forms that we're studying in this chapter. In addition to that, what is the other pattern that I try to teach you in Sound Focus 4? What's that? 6, in 6. That's about what? Listing. Not listening, not listening. This is listing. Means making a list. Okay, let's look at this. I'm going to the grocery store, and I need to buy a lot of things. I need to buy bread. I need to buy cheese. I need to buy milk. I need to buy grapes. I need to buy peaches. Now, if I want to make 5 sentences, I can do that. But that's kind of dumb, right? I waste so many words. So I just put them all together. I need to buy bread, cheese, milk, grapes, and peaches. I need to buy rising, 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 and falling, right? So it depends on how many things I have. If I have 5 things, I rise, 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 and fall. If I only 3 things, I have rise, rise, and fall. If I have 6 things, I go rise, 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 and fall. Okay? So you got the idea? It's making the list of items, and when you're not finished, you're rising. If you're rising, it sounds you're not finished yet, and then when you're finished, you fall. So sometimes when I hear students make sentences and they have rising intonation at the end, And I think, well, you're not finished, but they're finished. But their voice is not finished, okay? So the listener, native speaker listener, thinks you haven't finished yet, and they're still waiting for something, and nothing's coming. And you think you put a period on there, but we don't hear it because we don't punctuate with a period in speech, but we use falling intonation to show ending. We use falling intonation to show the end of our sentence. Got it? Okay, what's the other sound focus we practiced in this lesson? The reductions. Yeah, the reductions. We learned the reductions, some reductions already. Which ones did we learn already in lesson 1? Do you remember? What did we learn? We learned hafta and didya. Okay, good. Right, very nice. Can'tcha, won'tcha. And now we're practicing hafta. This is a really important one because it's very common. Hafta. And hasta. Yeah, I have to study. I have to practice. I have to listen with new ears. I have to listen to the sound of the end, the final consonant. I have to feel my throat. If you had trouble with a s and z, you might have trouble with hearing and feeling the voiced and voiceless quality of sounds. So I recommend you use your hand. You don't need anything special. No special instrument is required. Just use your fingers, and you put them here, and you can feel the sound. Spend, spends, voiced, right? So when you use your hands on your throat, that may give you another sensation. So some of you can hear well just through your ears. Some of you need to use your other senses. Do it. You've got senses of touch. That's a very good way to really feel the quality of a z voiced sound and a s voiceless sound. All right? So you can feel it. When you feel it, maybe that will help you start to hear it. Right? And then try to say it. Okay? What do you? What do you? So in relaxed, informally. What do you wanna do? 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 What do you wanna have? 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 What do you wanna see? What do you want to watch? What do you want to read? What do you want to read? What do you want to sing? All right, so that's a very common oral pronunciation in conversation. Yeah, what do you... Now, wanna, be careful. Wanna is only good for I. I wanna, you. You wanna, we. We wanna, they. They wanna. But not for he, she, and it. Why not? She, wanna is bad grammar. Wants to. You have to say wants to. I want to see this movie, but he wants to see another one. Wants to. Yeah. He wants to eat now, but I want to eat later. I want to take pronunciation class, but she wants to take reading. Yeah. We want to take pronunciation and listening class. We can say wanna, we wanna, what? But he wants to take a math class. He wants to. Yes, with the S, wants to. So only for I, you, we have to say wanna, all right? And for he wants to. Have to. I have to, you have to, we have to, they have to. He has to study. He has to go there now. She has to. She has to practice more. It has to. All right, so you also need to remember. You have to remember your grammar. I have to remember my grammar as I'm speaking, so I know which choice to make in my pronunciation of have to or has to, wanna or wants to. All right, we can see. We can see. I can see you. See. Huh?
They can see.
I can see.
Or
I can see. I can see the board.
How about the
She can see. She can read. She can write. She can speech.
Need to put the S.
When do we put?
C-A-N-S.
No. C-A-N is a modal auxiliary. You never put S on a modal auxiliary. If you see C-A-N-S, do you know the meaning? Like a can. 1 can or 2 cans. I went to the store to buy 2 cans of what? Beets or something, in a canned form. That would be a different meaning. That's a noun. But here we're using it as a modal auxiliary and never has S. Never, ever, ever. All right? I can see, you can see, we can see, she can see, he can see, they can see, it can do it. So can for all, right? Can. Now, let me tell you about can and can't. Listen to me and look at my mouth. Do you see my mouth? Yeah. Which one is big and which one is small? I can see. I can see. I can do it. I can do it. I can hear it. I can write it. I can practice. I can't do it. I can't see it. I can't watch it. I can't write. I can't dance. I can't sing. I can't speak. Not. Okay, so where is my mouth open for the positive or the negative? Negative. Negative has to be open. Can't. All right? Can't. Look at my mouth. Look at your mouth. Can't. I can't see. I can't see. I can't hear. I can't walk. I can't talk. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can see. I can hear. I can speak. I can write. I can read. I can walk. I can work. I'm pretty good. Yeah. All right, that's good.